In the bustling heart of Lagos, Nigeria, where the sun blazed mercilessly and the air buzzed with the sounds of honking cars and haggling traders, there lived a young woman named Amanda. She was a fruit seller, her life as humble as the wooden cart she pushed through the crowded streets each day. Amanda's family was poor, her father long gone, and her mother a frail woman who relied on her daughter's meager earnings to survive. Despite her hardships, Amanda carried herself with a quiet grace, her smile as bright as the ripe mangoes she sold. Amanda's days began before dawn, when the city was still cloaked in darkness. She would trek to the market to buy the freshest fruits, balancing the heavy baskets on her head with practiced ease. By sunrise, she was already on the streets, her voice ringing out like a melody as she called to passers-by. Oranges. Sweet oranges. Pineapples. Mangoes. Come and taste the sweetness of life. Her cart was a burst of color, a small oasis of joy in the otherwise chaotic city. One sweltering afternoon, as Amanda wiped the sweat from her brow and adjusted the scarf tied around her head, a sleek black car pulled up beside her cart. The windows were tinted, and for a moment, she thought it was one of the wealthy politicians or businessmen who often sped past without a second glance. But then the window rolled down, and she found herself staring into the most striking pair of eyes she had ever seen. The man in the car was young, perhaps in his early 30s, with sharp features and a confident air. His tailored suit screamed wealth, but there was something in his gaze, a curiosity, a warmth, that set him apart from the other rich men who frequented the area. "How much for the mangoes?" Emeka asked, his voice smooth and deep. Amanda hesitated, her usual confidence faltering under his intense gaze. 200 naira each, sir, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Emeka smiled, a slow, captivating curve of his lips. "I'll take them all." Amanda's eyes widened. "All of them, sir?" "Yes," he said, his tone firm but kind. "And I'd like you to deliver them to my office. Can you do that?" She nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. This was more money than she usually made in a week, and the thought of stepping into the world of the wealthy, even if just for a moment, was both thrilling and terrifying. The next day, Amanda arrived at the towering glass building that housed Emeka's company. She felt out of place in her worn-out dress and sandals, but she held her head high, determined not to let her nerves show. The receptionist eyed her with thinly veiled disdain but directed her to the elevator after a quick call to Emeka's office. When the doors slid open on the top floor, Emeka was waiting for her. He greeted her with a warm smile and insisted on helping her unload the mangoes himself. As they worked, he asked her about her life, her dreams, her struggles. Amanda found herself opening up to him in a way she never had with anyone else. There was no judgment in his eyes, only genuine interest. From that day on, Emeka became a regular customer, always buying more fruit than he could possibly need and always finding excuses to see Amanda. He started visiting her cart in person, often bringing along his laptop and working from a nearby cafe just to be near her. The other traders began to whisper, their curiosity piqued by the unlikely friendship between the billionaire and the fruit seller. But Amanda's life was far from easy. Her mother's health was deteriorating, and the cost of her medication was a constant burden. Her younger brother, Chidi, had been forced to drop out of school because they couldn't afford the fees. Amanda worked tirelessly, her hands calloused and her body weary, but she never complained. She was determined to give her family a better life, even if it meant sacrificing her own dreams. Unbeknownst to Amanda, Emeka had been quietly observing her. One evening, after she had packed up her cart and headed home, Emeka decided to follow her. He wanted to understand the woman who had captured his attention so completely. What he discovered broke his heart. Amanda's home was a small, crumbling shack in one of the city's poorest neighborhoods. The roof leaked, the walls were cracked, and the air was thick with the smell of dampness and despair. Emeka watched as Amanda greeted her mother with a gentle kiss on the forehead and handed her the day's earnings. He saw the way Amanda's face lit up when her younger brother, Chidi, ran to her, clutching a tattered textbook and begging for help with his homework. Emeka's heart ached as he realized the depth of Amanda's struggles. He had always admired her resilience and kindness, but now he understood the true extent of her sacrifices. Emeka knew he had to do something, but he also knew that Amanda was too proud to accept charity. He would have to find a way to help without making her feel indebted. The next day, Emeka arrived at Amanda's cart with a proposal. "I've been thinking," he said, his tone casual but his eyes serious. "I need someone to manage a new project I'm starting, a community initiative to provide fresh produce to underserved areas. I think you'd be perfect for the job. It pays well, and it's a chance to make a real difference." Amanda stared at him, stunned. "Me? But I'm just a fruit seller. I don't know anything about managing projects." Emeka smiled. "You know more than you think. You understand the people, the challenges, the needs. That's exactly what I'm looking for." Amanda hesitated, her mind racing. This was an opportunity she couldn't afford to pass up, but it also felt too good to be true. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Emeka urged, his voice soft but insistent. "Let me help you, Amanda. You deserve this." With a deep breath, Amanda nodded. "Yes. I'll do it." Over the next few weeks, Amanda's life began to change in ways she could never have imagined. Emeka's project provided her with a steady income, allowing her to move her family into a modest but comfortable home. Chidi was able to return to school, his face beaming with joy as he put on his uniform for the first time in years. Amanda's mother, though still frail, began to regain some of her strength, her spirits lifted by the hope that had returned to their lives. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Emeka invited Amanda to dinner at his penthouse. The table was set with fine china and candles, the atmosphere intimate and warm. As they ate, Emeka's gaze lingered on Amanda, his expression thoughtful. "Amanda," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion, "there's something I need to tell you. I've been drawn to you from the moment we met. Your strength, your kindness, your resilience, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. I've tried to deny it, but I can't anymore. I'm in love with you." Amanda's breath caught in her throat. She had never allowed herself to dream that someone like Emeka could feel this way about her. But as she looked into his eyes, she saw the sincerity, the vulnerability, the love that mirrored her own. "Emeka," Amanda whispered, her voice trembling, I feel the same way. But I'm scared. Scared that I'm not enough, that I'll disappoint you." Emeka reached across the table, taking Amanda's hand in his. "You could never disappoint me. You've already given me more than you know. All I want is to be by your side, to support you, to love you. Will you let me?" Tears welled up in Amanda's eyes as she nodded. "Yes," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, I will." And in that moment, as the city lights twinkled like stars outside the window, Amanda and Emeka's lives intertwined, their love a beacon of hope in a world that had once seemed so dark. And that's the end of Amanda's story. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more touching stories.